Hey everyone, welcome to the PFF Betting Podcast. I am your host, Kendall Valenzuela. Joined with me, as always, PFF Senior Data Scientist Ben Brown. We are here to continue the Super Wildcard Weekend, breaking down all three games happening on Sunday. So let's get into it. Football fans, I'm sure we all love an action-packed, high-scoring NFL game, but with the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you'll be a winner once a single point is scored. New customers who bet just $1 on any team to score can win $100 in free bets. It's just that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on the NFL action. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PFF. Bet $1 on any team to score and win $100 in free bets if they score. You score with promo code PFF this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Ben, we had a good day too on Saturday's games. It was a good run for us. I think we hit 1, 2, 3, maybe getting to 4 out of 7. So yes, that's a good day.
It's all right. It's in the positive territory.
It is in the positive territory,
right? I mean, the one thing was, Joe Burrow basically rushing yards going over did not happen whatsoever. The other 3 quarterbacks that have played today all have gone over their quarterback rushing props. So I think we just maybe didn't identify the correct play. It must have been Mac Jones here on Saturday night, but it's it's
I'm never gonna apologize for a quarterback rushing prop.
I think we're sweating out basically like Mac Jones over passing yards right now, and like Diggs needs like 10 more yards, 8 more yards for his or 6 more yards for his 7 more. I cannot count right now. 7 more yards for his receiving yardage number.
Yeah,
so
we got him
getting those 2, I think we'll be at 5 of 7. Maybe
that's perfect. I'm there for it.
That.
Yeah, Waller had his over receptions. Jamar Chase obviously went over his 71.5 receiving yards. Joe Burrow, just never going to apologize for it, but he did not go over his 9.5 rushing yards. And then, we got Stephon Diggs, 66.5 receiving yards, and Mac Jones, 209.5. So I think I'll take that. I will take that Saturday as our first wild card weekend. We got
an odds booster, I think, in there as well, because we recommended Jamar Chase over 99.5 receiving yards, and then Bengals to win at like plus 425. So that was probably our best play. So the only thing that didn't hit was the same game parlay. But those are swinging at best, basically.
That's okay. Sure. Yeah, Cincinnati is booming right now. I live downtown, so if you hear these echoes coming from my mic, it's because people are going crazy. They're going crazy. So it was a fun day.
You should be raging out with them, I think.
Is that what you call it?
That's what the boomers call it. I'm sorry, I guess. I don't know. What would you call it then?
I don't know. Going crazy. Yeah. What'd you say?
I said that must be like the boomer way of calling partying or something nowadays. I don't know.
I love it. No, I love it. I should know. It was so cold. It was so cold going out there. I should have gone to the game, but that's okay. We'll have other times to do it. But let's get into. Are you? I'm excited for Sunday. I think I'm just as excited as we were. Well, now that we know what this Patriots-Bills game is looking like, I think this Sunday is going to be a good slate too.
Yeah, definitely. And I know we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but you asked, like who was my favorite underdog to potentially cover or win outright. And I thankfully avoided both the teams that played on Saturday, the Raiders and the Patriots. I did not like the Patriots whatsoever, but I did say this Eagles game coming up here, 8.5. It has moved down to 7.5, but I do still think they're kind of live. At least to cover the spread, and maybe if things go correctly for them, maybe they'll have a chance to win outright. But given the price, that is still by far my favorite underdog play and wild card around here for sure.
I love how we're starting this out then. And I feel like we have to, I even looked up the weather for us, and that is actually supposed to be, though I was shocked when I saw it because I thought, okay, we're in Tampa, but weather is supposed to have a significant impact on this game. And you could kind of see it because the total kind of, I want to say, plummeted a little bit from the opening number of 49. And I think it's down to 46 right now.
Okay. Yeah.
And it went down because they're expecting a really high chance of rain, but the thing that they're watching for is the wind. They're going to be 20 to 25, maybe even get up to 30-mile-per-hour winds, which is really going to affect this game.
Right. Definitely. I mean, anytime we see over 15-mile-per-hour winds, it makes me nervous. I think wind in basically all circumstances has a greater impact on passing game performance than, rain, snow, and all those other things. It is usually like the wind as the element that is really going to kind of dictate whether teams can be successful throwing it or not. So that does make me nervous. No Leonard Fournette for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers either. So it's going to be a lot of Giovanni Bernard, which if you're trying to rush the football, just doesn't really sit all that well for me. So I am kind of nervous about the Buccaneers actually being, somewhat productive here offensively. Okay. We'll see how things work out for me. It's going to be no Ronald Jones either, right? So it is really going to be Giovanni Bernard and then like Keyshawn Vaughn and, a couple other guys mixed in. But yeah, the running back and wide receiver room for the Buccaneers is dicey at best right now from my perspective.
So you're thinking more of a low scoring game, not just because of the win, but really in the Bucs direction, it's going to be rough to get any kind of play movement going on.
Yeah, I think their offense is going to struggle a little bit. I know everyone wants to just say Tom Brady can work with whoever. I would need to see that for 4 quarters before I'm really going to bet or buy into it. So yeah, I think under 46 is playable. I definitely think, 7.5, 8.5 for Eagles also playable. If the Buccaneers are going to win here, it's going to be probably because of their defense and maybe some Tom Brady magic at the end, but I just don't see too productive of a game from them. So I'm definitely nervous about their potential outlook here on Sunday.
Okay, cool. Well, one of the ones that you do like, though, is Jalen Hurts under 0.5 interceptions. And this is one when looking into it, I like to, because he's done a good job at really preventing those turnovers this season. He just has 9 interceptions on the season, which is 15th among quarterbacks in turnover worthy play percentage. So I like this one, especially with how messy it seems it's going to be just in general with the weather.
Yeah, definitely. And I do think that is, a key factor in betting on this one. Obviously, if passing attempts drop down at any point, it's going to make it worthwhile for Jalen Hurts to probably go under this interception number. Like you said, the turnover-worthy plays have kind of been there in certain instances, but from a negative play percentage, he has one of the best percentages, one of the lowest percentages in the NFL for starting quarterbacks right now. So that's one area that he wins. First and second down, also a really strong spot for him where he actually wins from their stable metrics perspective. So if they can kind of get ahead of the chains, maybe keep the, first and second down, be able to, be successful rushing the football, I do think that Jalen Hurts is definitely going to go under interception prop in a game that, could be dicey because of the weather. So I do think he's going to be extra focused on kind of taking care of that football. So
yeah. Gosh, I'm looking through this game, and are you looking at any, and not to throw a curveball at you, but are you looking at any of the playmakers for the Eagles on offense and liking? Are you seeing anyone that you're just like, maybe I'm going to take this over because they're going to have to move the ball in some aspect?
I did like Devontae Smith early on in the week, but again, like the weather kind of makes it, concerning for me in a lot of ways, right? So yeah, it is. This does seem to be like it's going to be the game that's most impacted by the weather in a lot of situations. So, yeah, I mean, I think Jalen Hurts is going to be somewhat productive, especially on the ground. We like him to maybe go over 1.5 passing touchdowns, but again, there are definite weather concerns that could play a role in that for sure. So
got it. Well, another one we like to finish out this preview is Cameron Brate under 1.5 receptions. And I think, there's multiple injuries and other factors with the Bucs wide receiver room, but he really hasn't stepped up in the way that we need him to really take that over.
Right. I mean, it's just, I do think guys like Tyler Johnson are going to be a lot more involved than Cameron Brate. He's capable of actually, separating some, at least a little bit downfield. I do think we're going to see some Scotty Miller mixed in as well. But it's going to be thin with, no real pass catching options outside of Mike Evans, who's going to get, the Darius Slade treatment in this matchup, and then Rob Gronkowski. So I don't, 1.5 receptions obviously is not very many, but at that plus 140 price, you know, it doesn't have to happen, you know, even 50% of the time in order for it to be a worthwhile bet. So I like this one for Brate quite a bit. I just think, you know, if the Buccaneers are going to win when they're throwing, it's going to be more to guys, you know, like Tyler Johnson, maybe some people that actually can do something as far as the yards after the catch, more so than what Cameron Brate's going to be do. So I just don't think he's going to be all that involved whatsoever.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, it's good. The passing game, we talk about the weather all the time, but the passing game is likely to be limited by the wind. And that's just something that we kind of have to figure out. And I feel like betting on receiving yards in those moments, especially yards totals, especially for Bucks, this game is unpredictable. And it has been a lot too for the Buccaneers for a good part of this season too. Because I was going to bring up Gronk and 5.5 receptions, but even then it's kind of like, we don't really know what that's going to look like.
Right. Definitely. I mean, yeah, it's just, it's tough to look at it. And I do think, you know, from Brate's perspective as well, week 18, he only played 16% of offensive snaps. Week 17, he only played 28%. So he has kind of been trending down. I do think people want to say that he's getting more run because the Buccaneers wide receiver unit is so banged up, but that's just not necessarily been the case. When he has been in, he has kind of stayed into block in certain times. So I just doesn't really have the target volume that we're looking for in this matchup. So I just think this is probably going to be one of the easier bets here, even though you're kind of sweating out any given play potentially going in his direction. I do think that's going to be worthwhile. Yeah, I do think it's going to be worthwhile at the end. So
perfect. Well, that's a game that's going to be a little bit rough, and we'll sprinkle some things on there. But with the weather, it's tough betting wise. But a game that I'm really excited for, probably the best one of the day, 49ers at Cowboys.
Right.
And the 49ers are traveling to take on the Dallas Cowboys. That's the Sunday afternoon game. And it's crazy because Dallas is a 3-point favorite, right? And the over-under total is 51. And this is the only game of the wild card round that isn't a rematch. And I, for one, kind of like the 49ers here in this one. And I'm wondering if you're on the same page.
So I am not on the same page. I know that is the popular, you know, mindset at PFF especially, but I do think in general, it seems like people are kind of buying into San Francisco here. I'm taking the contrarian approach. I do think Dallas is going to play really well. Obviously, if they hit close to their ceiling performance, I don't think there's too many teams in the NFL that can touch them. I think the 49ers are just a little bit overvalued in the betting market, especially right now. They've kind of been this trendy team, especially with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. So I don't know. I'm fading it a little bit here. I don't mind the Cowboys -3. Greenlight doesn't like that necessarily as a play, but I do think if I can get some -2.5 in game, I'm definitely going to be loading up on that if the 49ers end up getting up early. So that's
what are you looking at in this game or this matchup that you're kind of fading what everyone's really going for? Because it is a trendy pick to go 49ers for that to be the maybe first upset of the weekend.
Yeah.
So what are you looking at? Is it more on the Cowboys offense clicking, or is it more that you just think that the 49ers are a little overvalued here and aren't going to play up to that standard?
I think it's both. I definitely think they're overvalued in the betting market just coming off last week and their performance. But I do think, you know, Dak Prescott, much better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. I know that's, you know, not as guaranteed right now than it was probably even heading into the season, but I still think Dak is like top 3 to 5 best quarterback in the NFL right now. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is anywhere close to that. For the weapons wise, it's probably, you know, somewhat even, but I do think, you know, a guy like CeeDee Lamb is going to be able to merge here, kicking more out, running a lot more routes on the outside with Cedric Wilson kind of operating in the slot. So I just think we're going to get, I don't know. I don't even have like a really good reason or justification for it, but I do think we're going to see a Dallas Cowboys offense that's hitting on all cylinders. I know we've seen it, you know, at times here in the second half of the season. Everyone kind of wants to throw out those performances and, you know, put it ifs, ands, or reasons for why they should have been expected to do that against Washington than Philadelphia last week. But I still think you have to take, you know, their performance and kind of, you know, wean out what you actually want to see, what you don't. And I do think that what they've shown from my perspective is that they can be, you know, a top 2 or 3 best offense in the NFL. And I do think we're going to see that here on Sunday in Jerry World.
Go with your gut feeling, Ben.
Go with your gut. Listen to your heart.
I'm with it. You're turning me a little bit, even though I think I just kind of want to see it though. You know, I just want to see that this game has been hyped up for a good, since it was announced, and it's just supposed to be, especially on this Sunday, it's going to be a great game. But I know, you just talked about like recency bias, and one of your props that you like is Juwan Jennings under 28.5 receiving yards. And I think that is the epitome of recency bias and why you are fading Jennings, because he's coming off that career high 6 receptions for 94 yards in their week 18 incredible comeback win over the Rams. So
Right.
I think this is one though that you're not really on board with.
Yeah, definitely. So he's running kind of like as the fourth pass catching option in this offense.
Okay.
Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, all running in front of him in a lot of ways. He's not necessarily on the field all that much. So I do think, him going over, getting a ton of carries, getting a ton of targets. It's just not something that I see play out, especially if, like you said, I expect Dallas to potentially run away with this one. But if you think the 49ers are keeping it close, I don't think it's going to be because Juwan Jennings is winning his matchup early on in this game. So maybe he turns into an afterthought if the 49ers are, maintaining at least a safe distance from the Cowboys. But the only concern for me is if, the Cowboys end up blowing out the 49ers and he gets like a deep shot later on in the game. But other than that, I just don't see a ton of target volume going in his direction with all the other playmakers that the 49ers have offensively.
And I think you described his wide receiver cornerback matchup as laughable.
Yeah, it's bad. It's ugly. It's definitely ugly. So.
Which is so funny to me because he's going up against Jordan Lewis, Trayvon Diggs, Anthony Brown.
Right. I think they're just they're gonna try and isolate Deebo Samuel. I think a lot more George Kittle, and then if they need a deep shot, probably looking at Brandon Ayuk's direction. Jennings might have one shot at this. He might be sweating out like one deep shot basically, but I think he's going to come up empty-handed. And I do think this is probably a pretty easy winner here when all things.
I do like that one. That one might be one of my favorites of the day. The day, and it's an under, so that's saying a lot.
You gotta sweat it out then.
So okay, I need to know then. So you think the Cowboys are going to run away with it?
I don't necessarily. I mean, I
guess I'm asking points wise. Like, are you taking? Because this is obviously the highest point total I think on the weekend. Right. Are you really leaning not necessarily that you're going to bet it, but do you think it's going to hit that over, or do you think it's more the Cowboys are going to run away with it, but it's still going to be, I don't know, hit the under?
I don't know. I would probably, if I was going to lean in any one direction, I would take the over 50.5. That's what we have as kind of a consensus line. I do think, there are 51s out in the market already, but I think if you can find a 50.5 and you are inclined to lean on one side, I'm definitely going over it, as I do think we're going to see some offense, some explosive plays happening for both offenses. And I do think that both defenses are probably just a little bit overrated or overvalued in the betting market, have allowed some big plays previously. So I think we're going to see an extension of that. So I'd go over 50.5. I was locking in a certain bet.
That's what I was hoping you'd say, because my anytime for this game is Deebo Samuel.
Okay.
Deebo Samuel, and he's still I found him today at a plus price at plus 120, which is just a lot of value there. But, looking at the points and everything like that, like no one's scoring touchdowns at a better, higher rate than Deebo Samuel. He's got 11 touchdowns in the last 16 games. And he's been good for me this year as an anytime touchdown scorer. So I think if they are scoring points, this one has value, and it should be a lock. But now that we say that, we don't like to say it, but he's one of my favorites for that game.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I can get on board with it. Obviously, Deebo Samuel's going to get both, rush attempts and receptions right along the goal line. So, I mean, he's done it before. He's done it before for us a number of times already. Why not go to the well one more time? I definitely agree.
You got to. Even though, because according to Ben Brown, they're done. Their season's over.
I don't know about that, but we'll see. Maybe the 49ers are going to win by 3 touchdowns, and I'm just going to be eaten up in those YouTube streets or something. I don't know for sure.
YouTube streets. I love it. Well, a game we have to talk about because it's happening is the Steelers at Chiefs. There's not a lot to say about it, but it's a game that's happening on Sunday. Big Ben made me laugh over the week when he was everyone was sarcastic, saying that they have no chance, that they're just going to go out and have fun, which I think is just a great motto for life. But what's a prop that you like in the, I guess, first of all, I mean, is there any chance that the Steelers win this game?
Nope, I don't think so. I think if I was taking any player prop, it's going to be Ben Roethlisberger not having fun in this match. That's one thing that I would like to bet on, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to be close. I do think Mahomes is going to, watching this Bills game against the Patriots, the Bills are kind of hitting on all cylinders, right? And I do think that if the Chiefs kind of just squeak by, it is going to be pretty nervous week for Kansas City fans, sitting here watching, Josh Allen kind of put on this absolute clinic offensively. So I do think we're going to see a pretty decent performance from Kansas City Chiefs. And I do think that's going to make for, one of the best playoff games next weekend happening in Kansas City. So I do expect to blow out here. No way I'm touching the Steelers side in any sort of way or fashion, but yeah, just unders for me, I think, for this.
Perfect. I was going to say your first one is Pat Freiermuth, under 30.5 receiving yards.
Yeah. I think this one's a little, it's more based on, the weapons that they didn't have previously in this passing offense. Now, Deontay Johnson's back. He did play last week. Chase Claypool's obviously going to be playing. Juju Smith-Schuster sounds like he's playing as well. So all of a sudden, Freiermuth has kind of turned into the fourth option in this game. If you don't expect the Steelers offense to be all that efficient or functional in this matchup, then I do think him going under is, probably the safest bet out of any pass catching option for the Steelers. And I do think that a couple of them are probably going to go under their total here on Sunday night. So he seems like the best one for sure, given, all the other guys that are going to be involved here for Pittsburgh as well on Sunday night. So, and
we know Big Ben is going to ride off into the sunset with his career. It's pretty much over. And if this game comes out and the Steelers win this game and people are watching this after the game,
pour one out for us. We're gonna be poorer than you. So
we're sorry. But one guy I did want to talk to you about was Deontay Johnson. Because they're still going to have to try. They're still going to have to play like this. And I think Big Ben's average depth of target is 6.7 yards, I believe.
Right.
But I believe this year it's bad. It's the lowest of his career. It's over. So I'm so sorry, Steelers fans, but that's just a fact. But Deontay Johnson has become one of their top, receivers. He's lining up all over the field. And so I want to get your thoughts on his 6.5 receptions. If you think that's doable, even though you do think, and we believe that the Steelers aren't even going to be, it's not going to be a super competitive game on their end.
Yeah, I do think it's going to have to come down to garbage time, right? And I do think he probably will be the guy. But yeah, again, with Juju Smith-Schuster back, Chase Claypool, all these other guys, I do get a little bit worried about Deontay Johnson, kind of being the target hog that he has been at stretches during the season. But I do think this is the spot to buy into Pittsburgh if you think they're going to be at all efficient, offensively early on. If he gets, 2 or 3 catches in that first quarter, obviously he's going to be well on pace to do that. I do think that is probably what you need in order to win this bet. But yeah, I don't feel great about it. Like I said, I don't feel great about backing any Steelers, but if I was to choose one, this would definitely be it.
All right. He's hit 7 receptions in 6 of his past 9 games. So I think I wanted to give them something. I needed to give, something to cheer for on that one. I think I'm going to take it. I'm gonna take it.
I'll take a little bit too, I think, just to provide some support for you
to feel something. Right. What's Big Ben's rushing prop at? Maybe we should
0.5. I think is all it's gonna be. So
I don't know. That might be fun.
Right.
Last game, I don't know. No, don't do that.
He's got to leave it all on the field. So maybe we'll see.
Well, one last one for this game that we do like is Mahomes over 2.5 passing touchdowns. Just copy and paste everything we just talked about and why what you believe this game is going to look like. And I feel like that's your answer for why you like this over.
100%. I do think this probably is my favorite bet of the Sunday slate. So yeah, it's going to happen here. I do think, Mahomes is going to have to throw some in the red zone, especially, but I do think he's going to hit a couple deep shots as well to Tyreek Hill. So this one should be pretty sweat-free, easy. Hopefully he does it by halftime and we're all just kind of, able to go to bed early on a Sunday night and prepare for that Monday night matchup. So
exactly. Any other props, any other maybe parlays that you have, anything you're watching for this Sunday slate?
I mean, I always have a couple same game parlays.
Love it.
I think so. I guess it's kind of interesting. I have tried to fade Elijah Mitchell last week. That didn't work out. I know we talked about that with, Andrew Erickson, but him to go over 19.5 rush attempts. I do think if you expect the 49ers to keep it close, that's the way that they're going to end up doing it. And then Juwan Jennings under 2.5 total receptions, Brandon Ayuk under 3.5 total receptions. That kind of buys into a different narrative of the Cowboys kind of running away with this one. Probably, forces the 49ers to probably be up early and trying to ice away a victory. And we'll see if Dak Prescott can come back from that. But plus 675, we like all 3 of those options. I do think they are pretty heavily correlated to each other as well. So at the plus 675 price, I like that one for that 49ers Cowboys game quite a bit. So
perfect. Perfect. That's got to be your favorite game of the weekend, right?
Oh, by far.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I was excited for Bengals Raiders. That was enjoyable.
Yeah, it was a good game.
The Bills Patriots has been kind of, horrible. What we probably expected, which
you messaged
horrible.
me,
Patriots
you're like, this game's over. Let's record whenever
run
you
it,
want.
right? So
where usually we have to wait till the end just because we're sweating out everything.
Right. But
yeah, it'll be a good game. I feel bad now for Steelers fans. It's not you guys. We promise. You. We're not. It's not. It's hilarious.
It's Big Ben. Sorry.
I'm picturing Eric just watching that game. I might go to the office just to watch Eric watch Big Ben's last game. Because the tweets on that are
not creepy at all, I guess.
I know. I'm sorry. All right. Everyone, pff.com/betting. That is where you can get all of this wonderful information, all our props tools, all our best bets, all of Ben Brown's articles. Thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you on our preview for Monday night's game.